Hello, I'm Jilly, and thanks for tuning in today, and I'd like to show you a free card kit. So, first of all, I wanted to let you know my blog is jillibling.com. My store is jillystampin'up.net. YouTube, thanks for tuning in, is Stampin' with Jilly. And here's the hostess code. I'll have all of this information in the description of the YouTube video. And here is the card kit. And card kits are free with just about any order. And right now it's celebration time, so for every 50 you spend, you get a free item. So let's get started with this card. It's just beautiful. I love the ribbon and these framelits. When you get a card kit, this is what it will look like. Everything is done with the exception of the stamping. And on many of the items, many of the cards, you can use whatever stamps that you have at home if you don't want to get this bundle. It's really nice, but with what you have, even if you just need to order some miscellaneous things and they total one of these dollar amounts, you get quite a few free kits. But this is what the kit will look like. So like I said, everything other than the stamping is done. So here's the framelit already cut. You just need to punch out all those little pieces. This is the paper for the bouquet, and today I'll be doing this card pretty much completely from scratch, so you'll know how to make it. And inside, that's inside paper to be stamped. Cute. And here is a little double bow. This is for the words, this paper right here. And these little framelits, I'll show you those when I make the card. A double bow will come in your kit. How cute is that? And you might not have noticed, but see this little cute flower here, this little embellishment? That is on the card too, right here in the middle of the bow. Okay, so to get to making this card, let me put the kit away, just because it's already going to someone special. Put that away, inside paper, bouquet paper. Okay, so there's the card kit. Here is the project. You know, another thing I wanted to mention is there is also this card, which I just love, and if I have good response to the card kits and orders for this one, then I'll add on next week this project, and that's using all the same supplies, and card kits are available. And then there's also one other project. This one here, isn't that beautiful? These two are from the catalog. Where they, here, let me show you, in the occasions catalog. And they're so pretty, I could not just let them go. I had to try them. And then when I saw them in person, I thought, well, if I like it this much, I'm sure everyone else will too. I know it's here at the front of the catalog. Here we go. So, this card here is this one in your catalog. And this card, I'll take the plastic off. That one is right here. Isn't that pretty? That's this card here. And I love these little, it looks like a wax seal embellishment. This card kit would be nice, and once again, if there's good response, this card can be the following week. So everything will come to you already all cut out, all the framelits, all the leaves, and you just put your words on the inside. You notice this embossing folder? That's part of this product suite. Well, here's the wax. Floral Romance seals, those. Here's a card kit ready to go for this project. But look at this folder. Isn't that beautiful? Once again, here it is. So hopefully this will be a good thing, and this can be the following week. Okay, so I'll put all that up. So you start out with your base paper, and on this card you really need to fold the base paper in half. This is seafoam, And you need to fold it in half because when you run the framelit through right here, if it isn't folded in half, then you don't know where to fold it in half after it's done. Here, I'll show you that in a minute. So I did the framelit. I ran it through already. So as you could see, it was folded in half. I ran it through. In this framelit, I have to run it through on mine quite a few times because it seems like the center portion wasn't getting cut. But when I run it through 3 times, 4 times, it's just fine. So you take this part off. Take that off. And then, like I said, the reason you fold it in half is, say it were full like this, you wouldn't know unless you measured where to put your score line and to fold it. Okay, so that is the framelit. So next, let's move on to the focal point, which is on a little square of Whisper White. And you know, let me use my pad. My pad, it's always good to use that. Then you could see it better too. And this time, I usually stamp in a waterproof ink if I'm going to use an aqua painter or do any type of coloring. Or if I'm going to use the blends, I use Memento. But this time I'm stamping in Mossy Meadow. And I'm doing that just so it has a softer feel to it. If it had a black line, that would be nice and very distinct, but the whole card wouldn't have the soft effect. So to do that, I'm saving a little extra room in case I want to do a few little flowers right here. Just like that. That's done. And this whole card is stamped pretty much in Mossy. Okay, then it's time to do the watercoloring. So I love Granny Apple Green, so I'm going to do these in Granny Apple and then use the framelit to cut it out. And with the magic of TV, woohoo! Here's one that's almost done. Framelit perfectly cuts it out. Oh, I guess I stamped it a second time. And whenever you use a framelit, you know how it leaves these little pieces back behind? Make sure to get those out. Otherwise, the next time you use the framelit, you won't get a true cut, a good impression, because that will kind of be jamming up your cut. Okay, so here it is, and it's almost all colored, cut out, and that's what will go right on here. So about watercoloring, I'll do a separate video sometime here soon about watercoloring. I have just a few tips. I'm not professional by no means, but I get results that I'm happy with. Another thing about coloring when you use Mossy Meadow or any of the water-based inks, dye-based inks, this color will bleed and run. So I'm going to do the watercoloring and not go over the line very much, maybe try to avoid it a few times, and then at the very end just hit it. If you hit the line 2 or 3 times, it's fine, but if you keep going over and over and over it, it gets muddy. I have a good example on here. Oh, see right here, that little bit, how it's a little bit fuzzy? That's because I hit the line too many times. Then after that, I remembered, and then all these pieces here, right there, I hit the line a little bit too much. But if you're aware of that, it's easy to avoid it. So when you're watercoloring, you can go in the lid, and that has a softer green, or you could go directly into the stamp pad, which will be a stronger color. When you go to color, as long as there's moisture in what you're coloring, you could keep moving the color. Once it's dry, like right now, now it's set. But right here, it's still wet. I could still move the color around. And notice how I'm kind of staying away from the line a little bit. Also, Mother Nature, her leaves are not perfectly all one color, so it's okay if there's a little bit of streaking, and then you could say, yeah, I really did make that. Okay. So I'll do a little bit more, and then I'll move on with the rest of the card. Alrighty. Okay, so that's fully colored. Oh, and before you use your aqua pen, make sure there's no color in it, and before you put the lid on it, make sure there's no color in it. For example, if there was orange in there and I was coloring the green because somebody didn't clean it out before I did, that would be a problem. I'd be very unhappy with all that work I put into that little bouquet. Okay, so this is done, and it's going to be put onto my card. And notice these little green leaves. That's the stamp. I'm going to put that on. If you look right down here, you'll probably notice that I stamped it down here. Didn't show up, so I put it up there. Doesn't matter, just adds on a little bit more. So once again, I'll be using Mossy. Perfect. You know, while I have this ink pad out, how about if I do the words? Thinking of you. And I have those way over to the side. Nice. Okay, so have that piece, that. I think we're getting close to assembly, so I'm going to use a few dimensionals. Good. And you know, I probably should have put the dimensionals more toward the center, because see all these little pieces here that I cut out using the framelits and the mossy paper? I'm going to put a glue dot on those and tuck them underneath, and I'm hoping these dimensionals don't get in the way. You know, hindsight is always so clear. Okay, so thinking about where do I want the bow, I'm fine with this sticking over. I want a little bit of that to show. There it is. I'll put the words on. And looking at the sample, I'm thinking about where do I want adhesive. I know I definitely want it over here. I'm not sure. It wouldn't show through there. Okay, so I'll have it on about 3/4 of the words. Oh, I didn't punch this all out. Here, just a minute. I'll punch the rest of it out later, but just where I'm going to attach the words, I want this gone. Otherwise, I'll have adhesive sticking to it, and I won't be able to make it gone. Okay, good. Okay, so this is going to just be tucked underneath there. Oh, and you know what? I want it over to the edge, so I'm going to close the top. How about right there? Good. Okay, so the double bow, I'm going to do one of those really fast. And if you're impressed by the double bow, I have a tutorial from, I think it's been 2 weeks now ago that I did it. It's a really good tutorial. I go over and over and over it. And feel free to watch that and then pause the video. And if you keep practicing, you'll get it. So here is double bow. Don't you just love this ribbon? So, double bow. And there it is. I wanted just a little one. One card I made a really big one and it was a little overpowering. Whole lot of lovely, but that's okay. Okay, so there is double bow. And I'm going to put one of these embellishments. Frosted flower embellishments. Are those the cutest? I'm using this one, which kind of blends in. But because I didn't use fig, I don't think I'll use that, and I'm afraid that this one will be too faint, so I'll use one of these. And when you're picking up rhinestones or any of the embellishments that are self-adhesive, just think that there's a glue dot underneath, and you want to get something to pick up the glue dot. I know people have a problem, they leave the glue dot behind. If you use tweezers or something like that, you'll pick up the embellishment, but you might be leaving the glue dot behind. So I'm purposely thinking about the glue dot underneath, picking it up. So now it's on my scissors, which I can place it easily on the bow. And to attach the bow, I need a glue dot. You notice I have all these other little, what are they, twigs ready to roll. I'll put those on next. So that will go right there. Okay, so these little guys, I will just tuck them in, trying to hide them underneath the mess. How about right there? And I noticed I didn't punch out that little white piece. Oh, there's a few white pieces I didn't punch out. All the details. That's what makes a nice card, right? Okay. And so this card, it has 3, and they are made with that framelit. And I'll have you know, when I was running those through on the mossy paper, they kind of get stuck in the framelit. So I need to work on that. Someone said dryer sheets. I know if you put a wax paper in between the underside of the framelit and the paper, that helps. And when I was pulling them out, quite a few of them got tore. But you know what? These little pieces, those would still be pretty on a card. I might just add those into one card so the card is extra special. Okay, so back to these little branches. There, and then maybe the last one off to the side. See, I shouldn't have put these dimensionals so close to the edge, which is good for supporting the card, but now, well, this is a good opportunity to show you something. If ever you do that, I want to put it right here. These are in the way. So if ever you have something stuck down with dimensionals, go ahead, cut the dimensional. Do what you need to do. Maybe I could do it at kind of an angle, like half up on the card. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now that I've cut the dimensionals, you're thinking, well, you kind of ruined those. But then you could go back with your adhesive and reactivate the dimensionals, and it'll sit down right where it was originally. And now it has double adhesive on it. And there it is. I'm seeing that glue dot. Oh, there it is. That looks better. Okay, so these cards are looking similar. I'm going to trim the bow ends. Okay, so pretty. Now the inside. So the inside is just whisper white paper, and again, if possible, use whisper white because it holds the ink so nicely. And this is done with this stamp here, and you know, I didn't show you the stamp set. I'm going to use this one here. You know how we use that on the front. This is the bouquet on the outside. These little flowers are 3 separate flowers, and those are right here. And this little dot dot dot, Look how pretty that is there. So that's, I think that's stamp off and then here's second strength, so it's really soft. And then for words, on the outside I have thinking of you, and then I wanted to put something on the inside, but when I look at the set, none of them really fit what I wanted to do. So Lasting Lily, which is part of a celebration offering, I'm going to use this, and I used Our Thoughts Are With You, which is this one right here, but that's a really nice set. I need to use this because I've seen pretty things done with it. Okay, so to stamp the inside, I used Mossy. Stamp this going up. Then stamp the words. And that I did it in Pear, which is a little bit of a lighter color. That's pretty. And then back to Mossy for the little flowers. And then because the outside, when I'm looking at this, it's looking really green, I'll do the watercoloring here. In this I used Pear to do the watercoloring. I watercolor this with Petal Pink so it matches the outside ribbon and these flowers. And then these little dots, I'll put those on. That is using this stamp and Petal Ink. And I stamped off here and here, just because I want it real soft. Oop, that one was full string. Oh well, it still looks good. Okay. And then I did the watercoloring using the aqua painter. Colored this in Pear, this in Petal. So that's done, and now I'm going to put it on the inside of the card. When you're putting layering cards, different layers of paper, I have a little bit of a trick which has been successful for me in aligning it so you have a nice border that's equal all around the edge, and that is hold it in 2 diagonal corners, and then before you set it down, see how it's still moving? I'm looking at the bottom corner, bottom, top. Once they're equal, I'm not looking at the ones where my fingers are. Put it, set it down, and usually it's successful. So there it is. If you would like to make one of these cards or want a handful of card kits, again, here's some information. My blog is jillibling.com. You've already turned into Stampin' with Jilly. My store is jillystampin'up.net. And make sure to use the hostess code. The hostess code is what earns you the free card kits. And if you have any questions, my contact information is on my blog, jillibling.com. Hope you have a great day, and thanks for tuning in.